Hello Internet, I'm Slowbro202, and this is another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. So this is a match against a Japanese girl. I do not know how to read Japanese, but her tag said let's battle, so we did. She's got a Chandelure, Clawitzer, Gardevoir, Diggersby, Chesnaught, and Heliolist. I've got a totally new team today with Ferrothorn, Tyranitar, Reuniclus, Kangaskhan, Florges, and Rotom. Her only option for a Mega is Gardevoir, and that is she has a pretty interesting looking team. I've got the Mega's Kangaskhan, and here we go. So she leads with Heliolist, and I go with Ferrothorn to set up some rocks. She's going to Volt Switch out immediately. And go into Chandelure. Pretty easy switch prediction, so I'm just going to get Ferrothorn out of there. And I go into Tyranitar. Tyranitar, obviously with the sand up, is going to get a special defense boost. And I also have him holding the Assault Vest, which increases his special defense but only allows him to use attacking moves. So he's adamant, full investment in HP and attack. And Flamethrower is not going to do much at all. So she switches into Chesnaught. I had the crunch planned for Chandelure. And I don't want to get hit by Hammer Arm or whatever she's going to throw at me with Chesnaught. So I'm going to switch out into Reuniclus, knowing that I should be able to resist it. And she goes for the Leech Seed. As soon as I switch into Reuniclus, I realize that I haven't finished Reuniclus's moveset. I just trained it, and its only attacking move is Psyshock, which is fine for the purpose of this. But I don't have anything else. It's got Protect, Recover, Reflect, and Psyshock. So she goes into Diggersby, which is scary, always. I decide to Protect, just to see what she's going to do. She goes for their turn. Knowing that, I decide to switch into Tyranitar, who will resist it. But stupidly, that just wasn't a good switch, because obviously Diggersby has the Earthquake. And that was a total bonehead move on my part. And Tyranitar goes down. So I go into Kangaskhan to Mega Evolve and get some Fake Out damage. But I was thinking, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go for the Fake Out because I didn't know if she switched to Chandelure, obviously it wouldn't do anything. So I went for the Crunch. I'm getting ahead of myself. But so I go for the Crunch. Potentially in the event that Chandelure switches in. But she doesn't switch to Chandelure. She switches to Clawitzer. And the double hit Crunch is going to do a little over half. And I don't know too much about Clawitzer, so I don't know if she's gonna try a setup move or something. So I go for this Sucker Punch just in case she doesn't. And she does appear to have gone for an attacking move, so Clawitzer goes down to the Sucker Punch. Then she goes into Gardevoir, which is going to trace my parental bond. So that's not cool. Then she's going to Will-O-Wisp. Also not cool. So Burn Kangaskhan is not what I want. So I switch into Florges. Florges is a special wall, and it does have aromatherapy. And her double hit Moonblast is going to do about a third. And I go for the aromatherapy, but she goes for the taunt. Or I think I go for the wish. Yeah, I went for wish, but it doesn't matter. Taunt equals nothing. So I switch out, go into Ferrothorn, knowing that I would resist the Moonblast. She goes for the Psyshock, and the double hit Psyshock does not do very much. And knowing that, she goes for the Will-O-Wisp again. So I was going to go for the Gyro Ball, since Gardevoir is Fairy type now. And wow, even with the burn, almost kills... Ferrothorn almost kills Gardevoir with the Gyro Ball. So that's good for me. She goes back into Chandelure. Gonna take some nice Stealth Rock damage. And I'm gonna miss the Power Whip. Sweet. So not wanting to get hit by the Fire Blast, I switch Ferrothorn out and go into Rotom. And Rotom's gonna take it pretty well. She doesn't want to stay into Rotom, so she goes back into Heliolist. And I went for the Hydro Pump. And Heliolist has the Dry Skin, so he's going to get a heal. I stay in and go for the Will-O-Wisp. And I don't know a whole lot about Heliolist yet. Obviously, if he went for the T-Bolt, he's special, so the burn's not going to mean a whole lot, but extra damage is extra damage. So I go back into Florges. Going to try and get that aromatherapy again, and maybe pass a wish to someone. She's going to switch out back to Diggersby. I protect for the return, because I wasn't sure what it was going to do at first. So knowing it's going to go for the return, I go into Ferrothorn, but she predicts my switch and goes for the Earthquake. And Ferrothorn hangs on just barely. Just barely. So I just leave Ferrothorn. There's no point in trying to save Ferrothorn at this point. So I just let it die. So going to Reuniclus. She switches back to Gardevoir, who's going to die to the rocks. And my Psyshock is going to hit nothing. Then she goes back into Chandelure. I go for the Protect, which was a mistake, because the Flamethrower wouldn't have done much. But the Shadow Ball is going to take me out. So that was a misplay. Psyshock would have done a nice chunk of damage to Chandelure. But, anyway. So I can afford this. Knowing I can probably take a Shadow Ball. Does get the crit, which is a little annoying. So I do get the aromatherapy off. Kangaskhan is healed, which is nice. Very nice. And the Flamethrower is going to take me down. But that's okay. Let's go to Kangaskhan. Go for the Crunch, just in case she wants to switch. I can still do some damage on whatever comes in, but she doesn't switch, and Chandelure gets crunched. So awesome. She goes into the burned Heliolist, who is going to paralyze me. So that's no fun. And the first turn Parahacks. So that's not what I want. And I go for the Sucker Punch, and again am paralyzed. T-Bolt's going to do a solid chunk. But the Sucker Punch is going to get him on the next turn. So that's good. She's got... I think Diggersby was her last Pokemon, yeah. And so she goes for the Quick Attack, which is going to do... I don't know why I went for the Sucker Punch. Another misplay. Obviously, Diggersby would outspeed me because I'm paralyzed. So I should have just gone for Crunch or... what else do I have? I think I have Return. But that's no good. And the Quick Attack on Rotom is going to end the game. So good game. That was a new team, not too familiar with it yet. Made some misplays, but that's okay. And yeah, thanks for watching. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.